Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm excited to bring to you what could be the future of gaming and could quite possibly be the future of computing as well. So Shadow is made by a French company called Blade, and it is a rentable PC, a gaming PC, that lives in the cloud. So as you can see, my TV up there is running Windows 10, but the Windows 10 isn't connected to it in my house. That's connected to a server room somewhere, to a gaming PC, in a different part of the world, and it's being streamed over to this TV via this shadow box here. Now the shadow box is used because it's a nice easy way, and it works well, of connecting up your TV to this rentable gaming PC. But you can also use an old laptop, a desktop, your Mac, Android phone, and in the future your iPhones as well. Now, it doesn't matter if, for example, your laptop's 4 years old and if it hasn't even got a proper graphics card, because all the work is being done in the server room and all you're relying on is the internet connection to stream it over. So basically it does work if you have a good internet connection. If you've got a bad internet connection, then it's not going to work properly. Shadow recommend that you need to have 15 megabits per second or more, but it will work as low as 5 megabits per second, but obviously you're not going to get a very good connection at that speed there. In my property I'm lucky because I have 350 megabits per second download and 20 megabits per second upload. So it does actually work well, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So if you think of it like years ago, you had your mainframe computer and then you had dumb terminals everywhere. The mainframe computer did all the work and the dumb terminals just access the information from the mainframe computer. That's kind of similar to what's happening here. All the work's being done on the main computer in a server room, and then this dumb terminal here is just accessing, allowing me to access that information. Same thing if I was to use my Android phone as well. So it doesn't matter if your equipment is old, as long as, for example, if you've got a decent Wi-Fi on it or an Ethernet port, then you will be able to access and play your AAA games on it. So I'm going to show you Forza 7 running on this, and obviously this would not normally have the power to run anything like Forza 7. You can even run Forza 7 on your Android phone or your 5-year-old laptop that was even never made to be a gaming laptop, because again, as long as you've got a good internet connection, all the work is being done off-site. Now obviously the thing that's going to let this down is lag. But amazingly, they do advertise it as having no latency. And apparently it's supposed to have only 15 to 20 milliseconds of lag, which is absolutely tiny. Now, I'm not a very competitive gamer because I'm not that good, but I don't notice it. When I'm playing it, to me, it feels good. Now, I'm going to show you a few games working on this, and I will be doing a future video where I have it connected up to different devices. This is just wanted to sort of show you the shadow box and introduce to you the service. Now, you have to pay for this service, obviously. The shadow box there is around about £110, and then at the moment you pay £27 a month. But what I would say is, give it a go, and then if you don't like it, just cancel it. But give it a proper go. You're going to have to set yourself aside a whole day to get this set up because there is teething problems. You might be lucky, you might just plug it in and then it will ask you to basically get the code that they send to your email, and then you can just put your code into it and it will start working. But with me, I had major problems getting, for example, the Xbox controllers to work. It's supposed to work with the Xbox One wireless adapter, but when I got it to sync up, it just had unbelievable lag on it, and then sometimes the character would just keep on walking and then you'd have to, go left, and then it would eventually go left and just keep on walking, so it didn't work. So at this moment in time I've got an Xbox 360 controller connected to it and an Xbox One Elite controller, but I'm using both wired cables to get it working. I've also got a little dongle there plugged into the front of it for this little combined keyboard and mouse. Now this is kind of aimed at gamers, but you can also just do your PC tasks on it as well. Now again, you're limited. It's not exactly the same as having a PC in your house. For example, if I wanted to watch Netflix, I can't. I can hear it, but I can't actually see anything. It's just a black screen because they have that copy protection thing where you can't stream it. Also, the same would apply for something like Amazon Prime Video as well. When you go onto YouTube, it thinks that you're from France because that's where this setup is from. So basically, it's still fine. You can watch all your YouTube videos. If you were to go onto, for example, BBC iPlayer, again, it doesn't think you're from the UK, so you can't watch anything on it from there. But what is a major plus point is that with it comes a 1 gigabit per second download speed and 100 megabit per second upload speed, which is absolutely huge. So for example, I downloaded Forza 7 in a little over 1 hour, which sounds a huge amount of time, but that game is 100 gigabytes, so it is unbelievably quick. I'll quickly show you a speed test now, and then in a future video I will go into much more detail and try it, for example, on like a mobile hotspot, try it over Wi-Fi and stuff. So in this instance here, I've got it connected up to Ethernet, but although I do have a 350 megabit per second download, this is going through a fast Ethernet switch, so it's only going to be coming out as 100 megabits per second, which is still ample quick enough. Right, it comes with a display port. You can see a couple of display ports there. Display port to HDMI, but be warned, the cable you get with it is only 1 meter long, which is not long enough to get to my TV, so I had to install a 2 meter one. I've got a power cable there, and I've got 2 USB cables feeding my Xbox controllers. I've got my little dongle there for my USB for my mouse and keyboard. Obviously you've got another USB there, and you have your headphone and microphone jack as well. So let me show you a bit of gaming, and then I can go into more detail in a future video where I have it working on different devices. Okay, so you can see my keyboard now with the mouse moving around the place, and it's nice and responsive. It feels just like the computer is connected locally. Right, so we're going to do, you'll see the lag test better anyway when I start playing the game with the controller. Right, I just want to show you a speed test just to show you how quick it is, because I've never actually seen speeds like this in the UK anyway. So let me just move it up because I don't want to give away the IP address and everything. Right, okay, I'm just going to go to go. If you have a look here now, you see 2 milliseconds of ping. And it's coming up as 8, there you go, 850, 880, 900. Okay, so you can see it's almost 1 gigabyte, 959. And look at the upload, so this might be useful if you wanted to upload videos to YouTube. 100 megabits per second upload. Okay, I'm just going to move it up again because it's going to come up with the IP address again. Right, so there you go, you can see that that's pretty impressive. 959 down and 106 up. Right, let me show you a little bit of Forza 7, and then I will do a little bit of Steam. Right, so I'm going to get my Elite controller for this. Now remember, this one is wired. That wireless one should work. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or whether it's picking up interference. Remember, there's always going to be kind of teething problems when there's anything new out there. It will always take a while to get it working properly. As well as that, remember, Blade's not going to be as big as a company like Google or Apple. They're not going to have the same amount of money. So, you know, you kind of have to give them a chance to get it up and running. Now, a big downside with this is the fact that there's only 250 odd gigabytes of storage. That is going to be upped, but when you've downloaded a game like Forza 7, which is 100 gigabytes, and you've got the Windows operating system on there, it doesn't allow a huge amount more. Now, it is possible to put your external hard drive into it, but what I found is, although I could access information from it, on Steam, when I tried to put games on it, I did manage to get tiny games on it, like Golden Axe and also like a Garfield game, because they were both under 1 gigabyte. The problem is it took absolutely ages, so accessing the hard drive, when I played the games it seemed to play normal, but when I was actually putting the information onto it, it took forever, as in like it took, you know, I think it took upwards of an hour to get that Golden Axe on there. So you can imagine on a game like Forza Motorsport 7, it's just never going to happen. It would take weeks, if not months. Again, I don't know what I'm doing wrong there, but it just doesn't appear to work well. As well as that, if I try to play a video from the hard drive, it doesn't play well either. It just keeps stuttering. So I don't think it's got the speed there to be able to do that. Right, let me show you this game anyway. Now this is a 4K TV, so we're going to up the settings on this. So let's go to video, and let's put it down to Ultra. So you can see there it's going to be 3840 by 2160. Right, let's see how we get on with that. I mean, you can see there that it does look good. The weird thing is though, when I actually press OK on the TV, it's still coming up as 1080 here. It does say UHD, but it's still coming up as 1080. So I'm a bit confused whether right now I have a 1080p signal or a 4K signal, because the computer side of it's saying I've got 4K, but the TV's saying it's only 1080p. So I'm actually unsure at this moment in time whether it is 1080p or 4K, and unfortunately, unless I had two computers with two same TVs side by side, I mean, the picture looks amazing, but then again, often to me a 1080p picture looks amazing anyway. So I'm not 100% sure if this is actually working at 4K or not. Right, okay. Now, as far as the specs of the computer in the cloud goes, you can look them up yourself, but basically it's an NVIDIA GTX 1080. It's got the memory, it's got 12 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. It's got Intel Xeon processors, 8 dedicated threads. Downside, I said before, was only 250, I think it was 256 or something, gigabytes of storage, but that's going to be upgraded in the future. And the good thing about it is, remember, there's no maintenance costs or anything, and as well as that, your electricity costs will be a bit lower because we're only using a device to stream to. All that hard work is still being done in the cloud. So you've got to admit, that's pretty impressive. Now, people will say, well, will they ever upgrade it? Well, they will, because otherwise they're not going to be competitive. If they kept that GTX 1080 for another 5 years, then they're no longer going to be competitive, and then who's going to actually go with them? They're not going to get any more new customers. So they will say that they will keep up to date, and really, for their business model, they're going to kind of have to. Right, okay, let's just do a little bit of a race. And then what I'll do is I'll hold the controller up to the screen, and then you can see yourself when I'm turning. You can even do a slow motion test yourself to see how much lag. So there's supposed to be between 15 and 20 milliseconds, but I don't know if there is. So in my house, basically, I've got the Virgin Media router. You guys will know it as a router if you're from the US or anywhere that's not the UK. And from there, it then basically goes into a fast Ethernet switch, and then from the fast Ethernet switch it goes through another BT router, because I just wanted wireless signal in the back part of the house. So it's actually going through, you know, various different things, and it doesn't seem to affect it. Right, let's go to start race. After this, I'm going to show you some Steam 2 player games as well. Maybe put Cuphead on it, and I don't know, see what else I put on. Right, okay, so if you have a look at this now, I mean, it just looks beautiful. Let me just show you the inside. Look at that. Yeah? Now let me see if I can do some lag tests so you can get an idea. Right, then maybe if I do some braking. Right. Braking. Hold on. Braking. Braking. Let me get the controller out of the way because there's a new way. Can you see the lights come on? And you can hear with the vibration through the triggers. Let me go in again. Can you see there when I do the left analog stick? So you can compare that to, if you were to compare that to, for example, Forza 7 playing on your Xbox, then you get an idea of how much lag there is. Right, okay, let's. I'm going to restart this race now to make it a bit more fun. Do a bit of racing with the other cars. So you can see it looks good. I've got a very slidey car here, and I'm not the best. I'm not the best at this, but you can see that, you know, it is more than playable. And it doesn't really appear to be glitching, does it? It seems to be pretty smooth. You can see the frames per second up the top there. Let me just zoom in on that. Don't know if you can see that actually. But can you see there? 60 frames per second. Yeah, let me just accelerate and then you see it's not dipping. Right, 1 second then, let's put it back. Right, let's do a bit of driving in the car. So when you think that that's being streamed over to that little shadow box there, that £100 box, but you would get exactly the same result now if I was to be playing this on my PC or laptop. And that's why I think this could well be the future of gaming, because rather than having to fork out for a new graphics card every 3 years, then you could just pay your monthly subscription and let somebody else deal with all the maintenance. Not that there is a huge amount of maintenance, but still, and then you don't have to worry about upgrading because they will do the upgrading for you. And if they don't, then shortly they would go out of business and then somebody else would come along with a newer setup. So you can see why they would be incentivized to actually keep everything up to date. Now at the moment £27 a month is expensive, but like anything, as it gets more and more popular, I'm sure that price will drop and as more and more competition kicks in. But look at it, it just looks amazing. Right, okay, let's show you a little bit of, go to a little bit of Steam. I think what I'll do with Steam is, let's download a quick game, because I haven't got all the games on here, because unfortunately there's not enough space on the cloud computer to put all the games on. But let's do a game that's not too big, just to see how quick it is to download. Let's see how big Project Cars is. Go to install. Okay, here we go. So that's 22,000 megabytes. That's 22 gigabytes. Should we give that one a go and see how long that one takes? So the time now is 14:37. Okay, it's saying I don't have enough disk space. I know why that is. That's because previously I had the hard drive connected to it, so it's trying to store the game on the hard drive, which is now unplugged. Let me just see if I can change that. Wow, I've been a bit sidetracked, but check that out. You can get, oh, that's amazing, the Steam Link for £2. I'll have to get another one of them. And you can get the Steam Link and the Steam controller for £27. That's very good. Remember, you do have to pay a lot of postage on that, but £2 for the Steam Link is a bargain all day long. It's a bargain at 5 times that price. Right, okay, let's go to library again. Right, so I've had to plug in the hard drive again because it keeps wanting to install it there. So let's try it now. Install. I'm going to go to that one. So it's going to be 22 gigabytes. And basically the time is 14:49, bottom corner there. Let's see how long it takes. Right, okay, so it's just finished now, and if you have a look at the time, it is 15:03, so that took 14 minutes, which is not too bad. 22 gigabytes for 14 minutes. So as you can see, you know, it has got its advantages when it comes to something like that. Now, because I had to plug in this little external hard drive, this is the kind of annoyance you get with it. Now, with a normal desktop PC, you can unplug things and plug your controllers in and out and it will recognise it fine. But now what's happened is, because I've unplugged, and I did it safely by, you know, ejecting it, because I've unplugged that one and plugged in the Xbox 360 controller, it now doesn't recognise it. So now what I'm going to have to do is turn it off and back on again, and then hopefully when I put it back on, it will work. So this is what I kind of mean by little teething problems like this. It's nothing major, but it's not as flexible as when you're using, for example, a PC in your home, because with a PC in your home you can unplug and plug in your controller as many times as you want and it will work just fine. But with this, every time you seem to swap something around, it seems to then not recognise it when you plug it back in. But remember, all these things can be solved. This is like, it hasn't been out that long, you need to give it time, just like a mobile phone. When you first of all got your mobile phone, it didn't work very good, and now look how well it works. So give it time and things like this will get better and better. Right, so I'm just going to turn it back on again from the shadow box. There's a little button down the bottom, and also as well the noise of the shadow box, you can hear the fan whirring around, but it's not too bad. So just to have a listen, that is the sound of the fan. And now because I've turned it off and back on again, you can see now that it has synced up fine, so both of them will work perfectly now. Right, let's do a bit of two-player on Cuphead. Right, okay, so just to show you the lag on this one. Okay, and player 2. Yeah, so it plays well. Right, let me show you a bit of gameplay. I'll just get my son in here. Ben, can we play Cupheads? So we're going to do this one here. I'm going to be the blue one, my son's going to be the red one. Right, so I think this would be a good game to show the lag, because if there was a lot of lag on here, then it would be quite a hard game to play because it involves quite a lot of quick reactions. Oh. Oh, Ben. Well done. That's close. Oh, and me. Well done. Ah, both died. Well, we did okay. So there you go. You can see that the lag is pretty good on that one, because otherwise it would be unplayable. So that's it. I will do a longer video on this where I show other devices and go into more details, because this is new to me at the moment, so I don't really fully, I haven't fully got to grips with it. But let me know what you think. Do you think that something like this could be the future of gaming? Because I think it could. So if you do, put it down in the comments. If you think it's just rubbish and you think technology is going to go in a different direction, then put your opinions down in the comments as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and please subscribe for more how-to videos. Take care. Bye now.